Hello guys, welcome to the lecture of Introduction to Big Data. In this lecture we are going to cover the basics of big data. So let's start with the what is big data. Yes, okay, this is a lecture of Hadoop. So we'll start with what is big data. So what is meant by big data? Is it a bunch of data, or is it a technical term, or is it an industry, trend, or a set of skill? What is your interpretation of big data? What is exactly my mean by the big data? Let's see what the Wikipedia says. According to Wikipedia, an all-encompassing term for any collection of data sets so large and complex that it becomes difficult to process using on-hand data management tool or traditional data processing application, that is we call as big data. So big data, or you can say the definition of big data, uh, if we are to a simple question what define big data, then we will give a few response that we have heard over time. It may be like anything beyond the human and technical infrastructure needed to support storage, processing and analysis, that may be one of the definition. Or today's big, it may be a tomorrow's normal, of course. Or terabytes or petabytes or zettabytes of data, it's also called big data. So in short we can say that big data is a high volume, high velocity and high variety information asset that demand cost effective innovative form of information processing for enhanced insight and decision making. That is nothing but our big data. So it is a large volume of data, very large volume of data. So how it is big? That's the question. How exactly big this big data? So we have some example for that. For example, suppose in 2008, Google processes 20 petabytes of data per day. 20 petabytes, it is nothing but the 2 raised to 50 bytes. 2 raised to 50 bytes, that is nothing but 20 petabytes. So Google, it processes in 2008 20 petabytes of data per day. In 2009, Facebook has 2.5 petabytes user data plus 15 terabytes per day. This is a per day value. In 2011, Yahoo has 180 to 200 petabytes of data. This is with respect to only a single company. Okay, this example is given to the only a single company of data that company has generated at that time. In 2012, only Facebook was ingested 500 terabytes of data per day. In 2013, YouTube 1000 petabytes of video storage and 4 billion viewers per day. That much huge amount of data was generating. So yeah, so 1 petabyte is nothing but the 10 raised to 3 terabytes, or we can say it is a 2 raised to 50 of bytes. 1 terabyte is equal to 10 raised to 6, and 1 petabyte equal to 10 raised to 3 terabytes, which is nothing but the 10 raised to 6 gigabytes, or which is equal to 10 raised to 15 bytes. And 1 hexabyte is nothing but the 1000 petabytes, and so on, zettabyte, yottabyte and so on. Or simply we can say 10 raised to 30 is the gigabytes, 10 to 30 bytes means 1 GB, 10 raised to 40 means 1 TB, 10 raised to 2 raised to 50 means 1 petabytes, 2 raised to 60 means 2 raised to 60 byte means 1 exabyte, 2 raised to 70 1 zettabyte, and 2 raised to 80 bytes is nothing but the 1 yottabyte, and so on. So Can you imagine the percent of data in the world that has been generated in 2012 and 13 year only? So it is 90% of all the data in the world has been generated over the 2012 and 2013. Whatever the data that was generated until 2011, 90 until 11, more than that, or you can say about 9 times of data is generated within this 2012 and 13 year only. That much data is generated. So question is, who is generating this big data, or who is generating that amount of data? So here are your answers. So this data or this big data is generated by different components or different places, like the most or liable is the social media, the Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, what all these social media types of data is generating big data. Number of users are surfing on the Facebook per second, number of comments are going on in this 1 second, number of people are chatting on WhatsApp per second, number of videos are uploaded within a second on YouTube. So this a large amount of data is generated on the social media. Number of emails are sending per second on the internet. So this all data is categorized or comes under the social media data. Similarly, user tracking and engagement data. So much people, business application, they are tracking the customers, tracking for their businesses, their sales, customer support and customer segmentation, so that they can use this data for their business logic. So this type of data is generated by this business applications. Then homeland security, this also generating tremendous amount of data. E-commerce companies, so many e-commerce companies like Alibaba, Flipkart, Amazon, all these companies are generating this large amount of data. Number of transactions is going on in their number of transactions going on in malls and these sites, and all this data, all even a single click on these websites is analyzed by these e-commerce companies. Similarly, financial services like banking sector, any other all financial sectors like share markets from all over the world, this generating the data in a second, per second. So many data is generated. So likewise, real-time search, what number of users are searching different things on the Google's per second. So this all large data is generated by different areas of the people. So that is a lot of data. There is a huge amount of data that is generated by the user. So question is, what are the key features of the data? So the features or the key features of the data is nothing but the 4 V's. We can call it as the 4 V's. So we'll start with the volume. We have seen it grow from bits to bytes to petabytes and hexabytes and zettabytes, yottabytes and so on. There are multiple of sources for big data: an XLS file, doc file, PDF file. This is a unstructured data, a video on YouTube, a chat conversion on Internet Messenger, customer feedback form on an online retail website is unstructured data. CCTV footage, weather forecast report, it is also unstructured data. So these all unstructured data is generated. So typical internal data sources, these are the file systems, SQL like Oracle, MS SQL Server, DB2, MySQL, PostgreSQL, NoSQL, that is MongoDB, Cassandra and so on. These all are the data storage. Archives of scanned documents, paper drives, paper archives, customer correspondence records, patients health records, students admission records, students assessment record and so on. External data sources like public web, that is Wikipedia, weather, regulatory compliances, census. This is all data residing outside an organization far away. And both, that is the internal plus external data sources, are sensor data, machine log data, social media data, that is Twitter, blog, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, etc. Then business app data like ERP, CRM, HR, Google Docs, and so on. Then media data like audio, video, image, podcast, etc. And docs, that is the comma separated values, Word documents, PDF, Excel, PPTs, and so on. These are all the both internal and external data sources. So these all data sources are producing a very large amount of data. That is called as the big data. Next is the velocity. What is meant by velocity? We have moved from the days of batch processing to real time processing. Batch processing, it is the report for the payroll application. This is the batch processing. Now we are doing the real time processing. So the velocity is nothing but the how fast the data is that is generated. That is the nothing but the velocity, with which speed the data is generated. Similarly, variety. Variety deals with a wide range of data types and sources of data. So the sources, the data that is generated, we categorize the data in three categories: structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Structured data from traditional transactional processing system and RDMS. In this format we are generating the structured data. For example, in our relational database, we store all the data in rows and column format. That data is called as the structured data. Semi-structured data, for example, hypertext markup language, that is HTML, then extensible markup language, that is XML. This is the semi-structured data. Semi-structured data, there is no fully format, but somewhat the format is existing. That is nothing but your semi-structured data. Whereas unstructured data means, for example, text documents, audios, videos, emails, photos, PDF, social media data. This all data is nothing but your unstructured data. There is no specific format is defined in which this data can be stored, or there is no any structure is defined to store this data. This is nothing but your unstructured data. So these are the variety of the data. Similarly, the veracity and validity. Veracity means it refers to the bias, noise, and abnormality in data, nothing but the unclean, imprecise, and unclear data. The key question here is all the data that is being stored, mined, and analyzed meaningful and pertinent to the problem under consideration? That is the question. So validity, it refers to the accuracy and correctness of data, whereas the veracity, it refers to the bias, noise, and abnormality of the data. Similarly, volatility, it refers, or volatility of the data deals with how long is the data valid and how long should it be stored. There is some data that is required for long-term decision and remains valid for longer period of time. However, there are also pieces of data that quickly become absolute minutes after their generation. Variability, there is also one another type of data flows can be highly inconsistent with periodic peaks. So these are the key features of the big data, and mainly these are the 4 V's, that is volume, variety, velocity, and veracity. These are the 4 V's which represent the key features of the big data. So what is the philosophy to scale for big data? To scale for the big data, the philosophy or the framework is like this, that is shown in your diagram. If we want to process a big data, then we can divide that big data into a block or into small pieces of the data, and we can handle that data to the worker, which is the component which has the ability to process that data. So simultaneously, if suppose in this example we are dividing the work into three part, W1, W2 and W3, and we are submitting this work or the pieces of work to each of the worker. So all these worker will parallelly process this small pieces of the data. So worker 1 will process the W1, similarly W2 and W3 will be processed by their respective worker, and after the processing the result is submitting to their respective reducer, where this result can be combined. So that is the simple scenario that is proposed for the processing of this big data, that is divide the work initially, process it, and after that combining the result. That is the simple process defined for the processing of the data. Now, distributed processing is non-trivial, that is how to assign tasks to different workers in an efficient way. Now, the task is the scenario that is proposed, but now some question that may arise, that how to assign the task to different workers in an efficient way. We are dividing the work definitely, but how to assign that work to different workers that is present within the cluster in an efficient way, that is the one question. Second, what happens if task fail? That was the second question. Third question, how do workers exchange results? That is also a question. And then last one, how to synchronize distributed tasks allocated to different work. Definitely there should be a synchronization among these distributed tasks, or among these distributed workers to which the tasks are submitted. So big data storage, what are the different challenges to this big data storage? Here all these are the problems that is that we have to process that data. Now here what are the challenges that is big data storage is having? Now the challenges with the big data. So big data, definitely the large volume is present for in the big data. Today is growing at an exponential rate, and most of the data that we have today has been generated in last 2 to 3 years. This high tide of data will continue to rise incessantly. The key question here is, will all this data be useful for analysis? That is the main important question. Do we work with all this data or subset of it? How will we separate the knowledge from this noise, etc.? These are the questions. Then reliability of storing petabytes of data is challenging. Then all kinds of failure, that it may be a disk failure, maybe hardware failure or network failure, that is one of the challenge. That is, if this failure occurs, then what about this big data? And the probability of the failure, it simply increase with number of machine. The cloud computing and virtualization are here to stay. Cloud computing is answer to managing infrastructure for big data as far as cost efficiency, elasticity and easy upgrading or downgrading is concerned. This further complicates the decision to host big data solution outside the enterprise. Other challenge is to decide on the period of retention of big data. Just how long should one retain this data? A tricky question indeed, as some data is useful for making long-term decision, whereas in few cases the data may be quickly become irrelevant and obsolete just a few hours after having been generated. There is a dearth of skilled professions who possess a high level of proficiency in data science that is vital in implementing big data solutions. Then of course there are other challenges with respect to capture, storage, preparation, search, analysis, transfer, security and visualization of big data. Big data refers to data sets whose data whose size is typically beyond the storage capacity of traditional database software tools. There is no explicit definition of how big the dataset should be for it to be considered big data. Here we are to deal with data that is just too big, move way too fast, and does not fit the structure of typical database system. The data challenges are highly dynamic, and therefore there is a need to ingest this as quickly as possible. These are the challenges with our big data. So what is the solution? And definitely the solution is a very popular technology that is known as Hadoop. So Hadoop, why Hadoop? Because Hadoop offers redundant, fault-tolerant data storage. So Hadoop, it supports the replication of the data, that is same copy of the data can be stored on the different nodes. So if one of the nodes get failed, then in that case other node can continue the work of this previous node from that same status. So that's why it is the fault tolerant and having the redundant data storage. Similarly, the parallel computation framework is provided. That is, since we have seen that the work is divided and data is stored on the distributed clusters, and at the same time or parallelly all the clusters can perform this computation on the work. So this parallel computation framework is provided by the Hadoop. Job coordination, definitely there is a coordination between among all the all these components of the system, or the what you can say nodes present within this cluster. All these nodes are coordinating each other. That's why the output can be synchronized, or the result can be synchronized in well manner. So programmer, they no longer need to worry about where the file is located, because Hadoop is providing the HDFS file system where the file can be stored. Also, the programmer should not worry about how to handle failure and data loss, since if one of the node get failed, then also replica of that node can be continued. Then also it should not be worried about how to divide the computation, because this work of computation is performed by the MapReduce programmer. Also programmer is no longer worried about how to program for the scaling. All this solution for this purpose is provided by the Hadoop itself. So the one real time example of New York Times is given. So what was the goal? The goal is make entire archive of articles that is available online of New York Times, and definitely there were about 11 million articles were present on the net from 1851. So data is huge, large. So the task is translate these 4 terabytes of data, or 4 terabytes of this TIFF image to the PDF files. Solution: used Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud and simple storage system. That was the solution. So that was the goal, and for that purpose the task was that perform this translation, and the solution is use these 2 component for this translation. So can you imagine for this 11 million of data how much time is required, or what is the cost that is how much cost should be given? The time it is less than 24 hours, and the cost is only $240 of $. So that is the power of our Hadoop system. So we are happy that we have got the technology that is Hadoop. So we will stop here. That is our basic part. Next part we will continue in the next lecture. So thank you. Have a nice day.